Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're getting into something that's, well, it's a real game changer for anyone who's ever worked with a struggling learner. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, an educator, we're going to look at some proven ways to help these kids not just get by, but to really truly thrive. You know the kid I'm talking about, right? They're so bright, so creative. But then you put a book in front of them, and it's like a switch flips. Something just isn't connecting. And reading is this constant, slow, uphill battle. And you see the signs right there on the paper, the classic B for D mix-up, or just letters getting flipped around. And it keeps happening. It's such a common red flag, but honestly, what it's really pointing to is so often misunderstood. And oh my gosh, the most frustrating part, that feeling of taking one step forward, two steps back. You have this great session, they seem to totally get it, and then the next day, poof, it's gone. It's enough to test the patience of a saint for both you and the child. So, all of this, it brings us to a really important question, doesn't it? We see them struggling, we see these challenges day in and day out. So what gives? Are these kids just not trying hard enough? Is there some kind of weakness there? The answer is a huge, resounding no. It has nothing to do with being weak or lazy. It's all about how their brain is fundamentally wired to handle language. And once you get that, really get that, it changes everything about how you approach this. All right, so let's really dig in here. What does wired differently even mean? Well, for starters, it means we have to stop trying to shove a square peg into a round hole. The system wasn't built for them. Instead, we need to understand the unique, incredible architecture of their minds. And here's the fascinating part. This different wiring isn't a deficit. It actually comes with some amazing strengths. Dyslexic minds are often fantastic at thinking in pictures, at solving problems in really creative ways. Their struggle isn't with intelligence at all. It's a very specific thing called phonological memory, which is just a fancy way of saying their brain has a tough time holding onto and working with the individual sounds and words. It's like they're thinking in brilliant full-color movies, but the soundtrack is a little fuzzy. So if we're serious about helping these kids, the first thing we have to do is clear the air. We've got to bust some of the common and frankly harmful myths that are floating around about dyslexia. And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? The core misunderstanding. Dyslexia is not a vision problem. Seeing letters backward, that's just a symptom. It's not the root cause. And it has zero to do with low intelligence or bad teaching or laziness. What it is a brain-based issue with processing sounds. It's neurological, it's pretty common, and it's lifelong. But here's the best part. It is absolutely 100% manageable when you have the right tools. Okay, so we've reframed a problem. Now, let's get to the good stuff, the solution. And believe it or not, there has been a gold standard for teaching learners with dyslexia for decades. It's an approach called Orton Gillingham. Now, the engine that drives Orton Gillingham is something called remedial phonics. And just look at those key words: structured, systematic, explicit, cumulative. This is the complete opposite of just hoping a kid will pick it up or figure it out through exposure. No, this is a direct, logical, step-by-step roadmap to learning to read. So why is the OG method so darn effective? Well, it's because it's built on these 7 pillars. It's structured and cumulative, which means you learn skill A before you learn skill B, and skill B builds right on top of A. It's super logical. It's explicit. You're told exactly what you need to know, no guessing allowed. It's diagnostic, so the teaching is always tailored to what the child needs right now. And here's the big one. It's multisensory, which means we get the whole body involved in learning. And all of this happens with lots of repetition and an emotionally safe environment, which is just so crucial for building trust and real confidence. Let's zoom in on that one for a second, because I think it's one of the most powerful parts of this whole thing, the multisensory approach. This is where the magic really happens, and it's a toolkit that any of us can start using. See, the big idea here is that we can't just rely on what a child sees or hears. We have got to get their whole body in on the action. So we're talking about things like using flashcards for visual cues, maybe tapping out sounds on our arm for that auditory link, writing huge letters in the air, that's called skywriting, for that big body movement, and even tracing letters in sand or shaving cream for that tactile, touch-based feedback. But you might be wondering, why? Why does all this work? What is it about using sight and sound and movement and touch all at the same time that makes such a huge difference?
It's because you're literally helping the brain build new, stronger connections, new pathways for information. You see, for the dyslexic brain, memory isn't just stored somewhere, it has to be built. And when you bring in all these different senses, you're giving the brain more raw materials, more anchors to construct a really solid, lasting memory. And at the end of the day, these methods are about so much more than just teaching reading. They actually start to heal the emotional damage that years of feeling stupid or behind can do. They build a brand new path, one that leads straight to confidence. Which really brings us to the most important point of this entire conversation. Dyslexic kids aren't working. They don't need to be fixed. They just need to be taught in the way that their incredible brains are actually designed to learn. It's that simple. So using a structured, patient, multisensory approach, it's not just a nice idea. It's not just one of many options you can try. For these kids, it is the path. It's the proven, evidence-based way to unlock the amazing potential that's already inside them. So as we wrap this up, just remember, what we've talked about today isn't just abstract theory. It's a practical toolkit. And the real question is, how are you going to use it? Whether it's with something as simple as skywriting or a sand tray, or maybe just an extra dose of patience, how will you take this understanding and change your life?